it's going. All right. You got the new box or the old box? The old one?
Check. Well, thank you everybody for turning out on this bright sunny morning in the Palouse to welcome our new guest to Washington State University. This is an exciting time for the university. We're particularly pleased that our friend Butch the Cougar has showed up and gotten up early today. Yeah. I thought he'd be still sleeping in his den, but he made it up. Okay. Obviously, this past year has been one of great challenge for Washington State University, and I want to personally thank everybody in this room and everybody affiliated with WSU. Our trek through the last year has been one that we've made together. It's been one of great challenge, but it also one that has poised us for great opportunity. Thank you. You know, my partners and our partners in this have been the Board of Regents, my boss, all of our bosses for that matter. And they have taken on the challenge. In Washington State, it's very clear that the regents select the president of the universities. And the regents took on this challenge with great vigor, and I think they have found a great person, a great couple, really, to lead Washington State University. And I want to introduce the chair of the WSU Board of Regents, a Coug, an alumnus, Ms. Ryan Durkin.
Gosh, good morning, everybody. How are y'all doing today? All right, that's what we like. We told President Schulz that this is what the weather is like always in Pullman, right? Even in December and February. Well, I am absolutely thrilled to stand before you today to introduce the 11th president of Washington State University. To understand just how far we've come, let's look back just 9 months ago. It was June, and we had just lost our beloved president, Elson S. Floyd. As we began the search for the next president of WSU, my fellow regents and I promised to conduct a rigorous search for the best person to lead our great institution, and all the while listening to the hopes and dreams of you and others in the community who care about WSU. We held community forums, we invited and received lots of feedback. It was a thorough process, and we went through it together as Cougs. I want to be sure to thank many of the people who lent their talents and perspectives during the presidential search. And I'll start with the Presidential Search Advisory Committee. The committee's 25 members reflected a broad cross-section of WSU, including faculty, staff, students, alumni, friends, and other stakeholders statewide. This group of extremely exceptional individuals sifted through the many fine candidates to find the absolutely best ones for WSU. And I've seen some of the committee members in the audience today, so I just want to recognize those from the Pullman campus, Guy Palmer, Annette Burton, Rich Zach, Lucy Leota. I want to give a very special thanks to them. And there may be others here. There's a lot of glare up here, so if I didn't call your name, please know that the regents are extremely thankful for your service. I also want to give a very special thanks to Regent Mike Worthy for his exceptional leadership of the Search Advisory Committee. It was Regent Worthy's leadership and guidance that brought us to this wonderful day. Also, a heartfelt thanks to Regents Laura Jennings and Regent Laura Powell for their outstanding service on the committee. It was a lot of work, and you were always up to the task. Regents Worthy, Powell, and Jennings, as well as others on the Presidential Search Advisory Committee, got us to this point today. So once again, thank you for your time and dedication. While the search committee did its work, the regents appointed Daniel J. Bernardo as our interim president. He kept WSU moving forward full steam on many key fronts, including seeking accreditation for the Elson S. Floyd College of Medicine, continuing expansion of WSU North Puget Sound at Everett, and creating the grand challenges, our cross-disciplinary research approach to solving some of the world's most pressing problems. Dan, you continued the vision and the legacy of President Floyd. You made sure WSU didn't miss a beat. The Coug family owes you a debt of gratitude for your steady leadership at a time when we needed it most. Please join me in thanking Dan. And a big thanks to Pam as well. So we have emerged from this tragedy stronger. Yes, a round of applause. We've emerged from this tragedy stronger and more united than ever. We're poised to enter a period of transformation, and the right person to lead us is Dr. Kirk H. Schulz. I'll get it right. President-elect Schulz is a great fit for WSU. He is a visionary known for his integrity, passion for the job, and belief in the transformative power of education. He is deeply committed to the land-grant mission, having had leadership expertise at such 4 institutions. He has a reputation for getting things done and a reputation for warmth, character, and openness. President-elect Schulz's impressive communication skills were on display this week in his first letter to the WSU faculty and staff. The greetings from him early confirmed what I have heard, that this is a leader who is a faculty and student-focused man and always thinking of the university first. The Regents and I are confident that we have found the right person to help us continue a 125-year history of academic excellence and help us steer us in the right direction and the future of higher education. So we are pleased, so pleased, that President-elect Schulz's wife, Dr. Noel Schulz, will be joining the Electrical Engineering Department at WSU. Please join me, everyone, in giving President-elect Schulz and his wife, Noel, a warm welcome to the Coug family.
Well, good morning, and thank you very much for everybody coming out. It's something else to walk in there and see all the people, and I know you all have many, many things that you need to be doing, so thanks for coming and greeting Noel and I. It's a real pleasure to be introduced as the next president. Washington State has a great academic reputation, and when we thought about starting to look at this particular opportunity, that's first and foremost why we were interested in Washington State University. You all have great scholarly output. You're known to do a great job teaching in the classroom, meeting the needs of the state of Washington. And that ability to come into a school that's clearly among the top 50 public research universities in the country and work to continue to elevate us institutionally is a real challenge and something I know President Floyd, President Bernardo have worked on, and I look forward to coming in and being able to continue on that upward trajectory. One of the first challenges, though, that we had in getting ready for this trip is, you may know, Kansas State is purple. And all of my neckties and most of my spirit wear is all purple. And as a matter of fact, I looked at my workout stuff, and it's all got Power Cats all over it, so I left all that at home. I thought that's not a good start, right, to show up wearing purple, and there's no W's on it. But anyway, it's I think we've overcome that, and I appreciate all the warm welcome that we've had on campus. A couple other things that I think that I want to make sure I emphasize. I have grown up in an academic family. My dad taught mathematics at Old Dominion University starting in 1960 and just retired in his early 80s, teaching each semester. So I grew up in an academic family where teaching and working with students and mentoring graduate students is all part of an important part of the Schulz family. My wife's father was a faculty member in electrical engineering at Virginia Tech. So both of us sort of come from academic families, and I think our roots are really faculty members who happen to have an opportunity to be in leadership positions. So together is where we're going to take this journey. For the next 6 months, I need to spend a lot of time getting to know our campuses. I want to go tour the research labs. I want to meet as many of our student and faculty groups. This fall, I'm going to be out with Dan, and we're going to go around and spend a couple hours with every major academic college, talking a little bit about our strategic plan, progress that we made, and also hearing types of things that we need to be doing as senior leaders here. So I look forward to getting to know you better. If you see us in town, come up and say hello. See us in the Seattle airport, say hello. Follow us on Twitter, get to know us through social media, and I look forward to working together to take the Cougar Nation to higher aspirations in the future. So I look forward to answering some questions a little bit later. Are we going to do that now, or is Noel going to come up? Okay, this is our first one of 6. So, by the time we do number 6, we'll have all this stuff down. But anyway, thanks for being out today. Look forward to answering some questions in a minute. Go Cougs.
Good morning, and as Kirk said, I'm Noel Schulz, and I'm very honored to be stepping into the opportunity of being the 11th First Lady of Washington State University. And I really feel it's a great opportunity for me also here. One of the things, as Kirk was looking at Washington State, is as a trailing spouse, sometimes you try to find a good fit. And I was very familiar with the program here in Energy Systems Innovations and the things they were doing. And I thought, well, it would be great if a great fit for me. I've worked with SEL for many years. And so yesterday when I met with the Dean of Engineering, she said to pass along to the regents that they appreciated them doing the Kirk spouse hire so I could be in engineering. So. But really, we are a team, we are partners in this, and we are partners in helping move Washington State forward. So I hope you'll also think of me as a resource, and when Kirk is traveling and out of town, where I can come and talk to different groups, work with people, because that's my job is to figure out ways I can make a difference in engineering in the School of EECS, as well as helping move Washington State forward. So I also, some of you may realize, we have an 8-month-old corgi, and she's gotten a lot of popularity on social media already. So we'll have Cayenne around and bring her to the library and other places during exams and other things, so you can have a pet the dog break. So she loves people, and she'll look forward to meeting all you. So thank you so much for the warm welcome, for the emails, for the tweets, the social media. We are so excited to be part of the Cougar Nation and look forward to additional chances to meet you all individually over the coming months. Thank you very much.
And I believe we have some time for some questions. So there's some microphones up. And and please let us know who you are, by the way, too.
I'm Jeff Guillory, Interim Director for the university's Diversity Education Program. Dr. Schulz, it's just exciting to have you join us, and we look forward to you joining us. We are doing some very important work in diversity education in this entire university. It's an inclusive process. And I did a little research in K-State, and you guys are doing some great work, and I commend you for that, and we look forward to having you work with us. Our steering committee, if I may, made up of Dr. Paula Price, Lucy, Manuel Acevedos, Barb Ashton, and Kelly Keene, did some phenomenal work on getting the building started, having the construction folks and design people come in and help get that started. And we hope you join us in the opening ceremonies in April. That'll be an exciting thing to do. My question to you, by the way, this is my staff on this first row. We do some phenomenal work as well in terms of promoting WSU. I thought I'd get that in real quick here, the diversity education program. My question to you is, what role will the President's office play in the advancement of diversity education here at the university? Thank you.
You know, if we look at building and continuing to build an inclusive environment, it always starts at the top. And the president and the provost in particular have got to be out in front on leadership initiatives. Now, that doesn't mean that we do it all. What that means is that we facilitate leaders on campus and we help frankly, resource the needs that you all identify to build and ensure that we have a diverse and safe campus environment, not just here in Pullman, but all the other campuses as well. So I look forward to hearing a little bit more in details about what you're going to do. The Multicultural Center is going to be fantastic. We're working on building one at Kansas State University and doing some fundraising around that. And I know our students there are very excited about having it, and I would suspect that the student body at Washington State is also looking forward to seeing that structure come out of the ground. And it's not just the building itself, it's what it represents, and it's a way for us to make sure that we can attract and retain and have a safe space for all of our students as part of their Washington State educational experience. So, thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of glare up here, so yeah, we see somebody.
Hi.
There. Nice jersey, by the way. So
sorry, I'm really nervous. Hello, my name is Samantha. I'm a sophomore, and I don't want to downplay. I'm really excited that I don't think anyone can replace Floyd, but I think I don't know if anyone I think that as much as I know about you, I think you're a really good choice, and I'm glad that we picked you. But I guess my question, did you name Cayenne from cayenne pepper?
Can I take this one?
Yeah, well, I have my answer, and it's I'll let Noel answer first, so I'll see if mine's correct. So.
Okay.
So Cayenne is red and white is what she's called, and her name was Spice from the breeder. And she was a little sassy, and she probably gets that from Kirk, no, from me. And so we thought red pepper, spicy, so that's where we came up with Cayenne. So that's where the name came from. What's your answer?
You know, Porsche has a Cayenne. That's where I got the name. So anyway, yeah, that's. But anyway, she's a great dog, and that Noel's turning 50 this year, so this was part of an early 50th birthday present. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
By the way, I'm sad that you didn't bring her.
Yeah, sorry. She wouldn't fit in the overhead compartment.
Kirk, I've already shaken your hand. I'm Chuck Pazeshki in the School of Mechanical Engineering. I'm a professor. I do a lot of project-based learning education, and I have a profound focus on making our graduates work ready as well as great critical thinkers. We're in a complex educational landscape right now. We have pressure from online institutions. We also have escalating tuition costs, though we've seemed like, thank you, Ryan Durkin, for helping keep the cap on that. It's recognized. And my question is very straightforward. Okay, so in that landscape, where do you think we can focus in undergraduate education and continue to make that profound difference in young people's lives? What's the frontier? What do you think?
I think it's important that we prepare students for careers. And that means for some students, they want to go to law school or medical school or professional school. We need to make sure we're doing everything we can to have those students ready to be able to go anywhere in the world and be successful. We're going to have some students that are going to graduate and they're going to go directly into the workplace. We need to make sure that we're meeting employers' needs. But I think sometimes when we talk about education, we get hung up on what people need immediately. And the liberal arts and the integration of the liberal arts into the educational experiences and engineering and agriculture and all these other areas, I think is what helps create critical thinkers. Ultimately, down the road, what we prepare somebody for now and what they're going to be doing a decade or 20 years out is going to be different. And we need people that are good at self-learning and are making sure that they're taking all of the aspects of their educational experience and integrating those. So when I look out to the future, I want, and my goal is that for industry in the state of Washington, anybody who's hiring, they say the first person I want is a Washington State graduate, regardless of what that field is. And I think we've got to make sure that all of our academic disciplines are working together to make sure that we're doing a great job for the state in that regard. I think Washington State's already doing a lot of that. I think we just got to keep asking ourselves, are we doing the right things to prepare those students? But we have to have everybody on board to do that. And I think that's an opportunity for the future. And let's keep at it. Let's keep dialogue and keep talking. And we need everybody here to be on board with that. I appreciate the applause. You know, after I've been here 6 months, you won't applaud any of my answers anymore, but it is kind of cool at the beginning. So, yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Edward, and I'm a president of the League of Legends Club here at Wazoo, and we would like to welcome you guys to the community. And me and my club members here have been working hard recently to bring the awareness of competitive gaming to our campus. I feel like we're really underrepresented right now, and we've been working really hard to run events at least twice a month and have the whole community involved. And we're just wondering how you can help us or support us in the advancement of competitive gaming at Wazoo.
Go ahead. You can start.
So I get to start as electrical engineer. So both of our sons are big online gamers. So we may have to ask advice from them to help with some of this. So just to provide a little bit of background, we do have two sons. Timothy, who is finished his master's in computer science, and he and his wife Tricia are computer scientists and work at Sandia National Lab in Albuquerque. And then Andrew, our younger son, is in his third year in mechanical engineering at Oklahoma State, and minoring in petroleum and math. And so, but they're both big gamers, and I think one of the things we want to try to do is give people an opportunity to try it and work on that. And I think with all the organizations around campus, one of the great things about a university campus is the opportunity to try things that you might not have done in your high school area. And that's where we want to give those opportunities and work on that. But we'll get our sons to help us with that and connect us with that.
Yeah, part of one of the things when you ask why students, any school, don't successfully finish. Many times it's financial, but it's also a lack of connectedness to the institution. And the way people can be connected is with clubs and organizations where people get together with similar interests. And so we need as many different clubs and things so that as students come here, that they meet some people doing some similar kind of things, that they can be supported. And when you need a little time to release some energy, release some steam after all those hard classes and exams and things, you've got a group of friends that you can go out with and do something that you like. So I commend you for putting that together, and I know there's lots of other organizations on campus. I look forward to learn a little bit more about what you're doing. But basically, my proficiency at online gaming, I suck. I'm terrible. So, you know, I was sort of I would play with the boys, and it was how quickly they could kill me. And sometimes it was less than 10 seconds. It was pretty sad. So I can use some pointers. Other questions? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brittany, and I'm part of the TRIO Student Support Services program here on campus, and I'm a student. So I'm a first-generation student, and our campus is really known for being a place that a lot of first-generation students come to. So how do you plan to keep education accessible to underrepresented students?
Well, great question, and my current campus where I work also has about 40% of our undergraduate student body is first-generation students, so we have a similar set of folks coming to us. I think there's a couple things. First, we've got to ask you all what types of things are important for us to have to help support first-generation students that come from a variety of different backgrounds, to make sure that ultimately at the end of the day, we want every student who enrolls at Washington State to walk across that stage at graduation, get that diploma, have that great career path. So we have to ask you. The second thing is it requires investment of resources. You've got to have people, academic counseling and things like that. And I know with the Souter Foundation and some of the things that Washington State has already put into place, this is one of the leading institutions in working with first-generation students. So we have a unique opportunity to be one of those places that everybody else wants to come to and say, hey, we want to do a better job with our first-generation students. We want to be just like Washington State. So we're going to have to work together. We've got to ask the right questions. We have to resource it appropriately. But I think it's a great opportunity to make sure that we're helping you all to be successful as students here and go on and do great things. And hopefully, as you go do great things, come back and support that programming and provide mentoring for the current students who are here. So
Thank you.
You bet.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Heather Havey. I'm a mom of a senior here, and also my daughter graduated with her professional master's in molecular biosciences here, so go Cougs. On that end, I'm also the new director of the Children's Center here at WSU, and I just wanted to know your thoughts on excellence in early childhood education and how you see the university supporting the early learning programs that we offer.
Well, like a lot of things, I'm going to have to learn a little bit more about the program itself and what it is that you're doing and working to accomplish. Again, in my previous institution, we do a lot of work in this particular area, and it's an interesting blend, right, of politics as well as education, because sometimes the early learning things in many states become sort of political footballs about do we need them, do we not need them, so there's some interesting policy issues as well. Again, I want us to be leading in the state of Washington in all these different types of areas. And so we need some advice on what we need to be doing, what we need to resource, what's important to us. But I think there's sometimes some ways that we can blend different academic disciplines to help advance the cause, if you will, from a public policy point of view in addition to educational point of view. So look forward to learning more. Yes.
Good answer. So, I think one of the important things that Kirk and I have had the opportunity with is to work through the integration of work and home and balancing family and professional activities. And as we talk about opportunities in the community to make sure we have adequate child care, to affordable, adequate child care. We had 3 daycares close on us in one city we lived in, that we want to make sure that the faculty and staff and students have an opportunity to be successful by having support services. So one of the things we'll be talking about is how we can work with Pullman and the other cities where the WSU campuses are to make sure we have that support structure to help everyone be successful, because that's been a struggle for us through our careers, and we want to, and that's even more important today, where more and more couples want to be part of the growth process of their children, is being able to have those facilities and resources. So we'll have to work with you on that, obviously, but it's something that is very important to us to help people be successful.
Great, thank you.
Dr. Schulz, my name is Robert Kobza. I am a second-year student here at Washington State University. I am coincidentally also from Manhattan. I graduated from Manhattan High and came up here, so I was incredibly excited to hear that you were coming up here. I love Manhattan, I love Kansas, but one thing I do not love is the state of governance in Kansas right now. As you're well aware, just last month, there was a 2% cut to the research institutions, K-State and KU. Boo. But what my question is moving forward, in terms of working with the legislature here in the state, what is your plan to attempt to avoid any kind of situation like the kind that is taking place in Kansas?
Wow, do you have a simpler question? I mean, that is...
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Wow. So let me attempt to give a few perspectives on that. Higher education in many, many states across the country has seen dramatic decreases in state funding. I mean, it's been in Washington, Kansas, Virginia, everywhere across the country. And as people have come out of the recession, different states have responded in different ways. One of the ways that I think Washington has led the nation was in the tuition reduction, and not just reducing tuition, but the state of Washington being committed enough to fill those funds back into the universities. That's a strong, strong political and economic statement to families in Washington that access and affordability for public higher education are really, really important. So I think if you look at the different trends in the two states and the way they're funding higher education, we've got a much more positive trend in the state of Washington. Now, one of the challenges sometimes that we all have is legislators speak one language, higher education speaks another, and sometimes we get frustrated because nobody can understand what's there. my philosophy has always been to sit down with elected officials and ask questions like, what do you expect of Washington State University? How can we help the state to be successful? What things do you worry about in terms of accountability and affordability? And if we talk the same language, many times we've got great stories to tell and things to do, and it's really the job of the president, the government relations staff to make sure that we're telling those stories in a good way. And that I want all the elected officials, whether we agree on things or disagree, to say, hey, we got great relationships with the folks at Washington State. I think that's there now. Dr. Floyd certainly did a great job of making all that happen. You know, it's my job to keep that going and make sure that people say, hey, we have profound belief in the leadership at Washington State, and we want to keep finding ways to help them achieve what they would like to do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I must say, I never thought we'd come and get a question about Kansas politics. So that is, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Michelle Jaworski, and I'm an assistant dean of students here. And I would like to know how you see the role or the Division of Student Affairs fitting into your vision for the university here at Washington State.
Sure. So student affairs, to me, the goal of all of us is students need to come in, have a great educational experience, and be career ready, whether that's, like I mentioned before, professional schools and all that. We need great academic advising. We need terrific faculty and staff and things in the academic departments. But to me, student affairs is that glue that holds it all together, that has to deal with the other issues like residence life and student conduct and things like that. It's part of what also makes it fun to be at an institution. Athletics and student affairs are the two things that can really, really add that additional element. So we've got to have a great set of folks in student affairs. We need people who want the Cougar experience to be among the best in the country. And we've got to be progressive and recognize the trends out there that we see with incoming students and making sure we're meeting those particular needs. And sometimes the challenge we have is faculty and staff can say, hey, student affairs, they're over there, they just run the dorms. It's a lot more than that, and I think it's important that the president, the provost, and others, we talk about that and make sure there's a great appreciation for what our student affairs professionals do. In my mind, it's all part of the package. It needs to be seamless, and if somebody's wearing a Washington State shirt and any student walks up, whether it's student affairs, faculty, staff, president, whomever, we need to be there to help them have a successful journey here. I forgot to mention that I started my career in student affairs. Yeah, it's amazing. I heard this voice from behind me, and so in my first institution, I was an orientation counselor, and so I kind of did a lot of work in student affairs early in my career. So I have an appreciation for the challenges in that area as much. But I'm sure you've got some other things, and as I come, I look forward to hearing about those. Yeah, thank you.
Good morning. I'm Patricia Glazebrook. I'm director of the School of Politics, Philosophy, and Public Affairs. So first, I just wanted to tell you that the weather is always like this here. Secondly, I'd like to welcome you on behalf of the school and share with you, I myself came here just a year ago, so thank you for making me no longer the newbie. And my experience in that year has been to discover that this is a place of commitment and inspiration. And the school in particular looks forward to working with you as we move forward. We have a commitment to our military students who are sometimes overlooked as part of the land grant mission, so we want to support their needs in new ways in collaboration, for example, with ROTC. We also support strongly the grand challenges, and because we do philosophy and, of course, ethics and policy in political science and public affairs, we can serve across all of the grand challenges. So we are on standby waiting for your directives so that we can act. But finally, I'd like to ask you a question because you have spoken about diversity amongst the student body. And of course, as we all know, a really strong motivator, particularly when it comes to retention for diversity students, is diversity amongst the faculty. So I'd like to ask the general question of diversity amongst the faculty, but the particular question of what your contribution or what your prioritization would be of the question of gender amongst the faculty. We have a very strong association of faculty women here, and we look forward to inviting you to come and be a part of us and to visit us. But as we all know, across the academy, it remains the case that if you look at instructors, assistants, associates, and full professors, there's great disparity amongst the numbers when it comes to female versus male faculty. So I'd like to ask you if you have any plans to address that at this particular institution and perhaps some inkling of what they might be. Thank you.
Sure. Let me talk both philosophy, right, and then some practical parts. The first is that I think it's important that presidential edicts, no matter who the president is, will not diversify faculty and staff. What we have to do as a campus, I believe, is ask ourselves the question, why is it important to have a diverse faculty and staff? And then what happens is we need to go out there, we need to track, need to be asking ourselves every time we do a search for a faculty or staff member, administrator, leader, dean, are we asking ourselves that particular question? Are we going out and getting the broadest set of candidates? That being said, I think that's a long-term view, but I think that's what you sort of have to do, because ultimately, at the end of the day, faculty hiring is done by your colleagues down the hall, not by senior administrators or even deans. But I think we must have and must continue to diversify faculty and leaders and leadership. Where you can see, and you have to say, the president can't just say that to everybody else and then go look at the senior leadership team, and if you see limited diversity there, I think you have to ask, well, he says the right stuff, but his actions don't show it. So I think the question is, as we have opportunities to hire deans and other folks, are we also attracting diverse leadership at the institution? So it's got to be a mixture of both. But I look forward to working with you on what things we can do. I don't want to be the person coming in with the tablets like down the mountain and here's a set of directives. We need to work together to find out what things culturally we can do on campus and how we can make sure that we have a balanced faculty in terms of gender, race, sexual orientation, ethnic background. That's what we need to have as the Washington State of the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lydia Gerber, I'm in charge of the WSU Asia program, which is interdisciplinary. So I'm in charge of nobody but collaboration.
Yeah, me too. So
yeah, I know what that feels like. So welcome to our WSU Pullman campus. I was excited to hear that among the vision that you have for our undergraduates is a global citizenship or a presence in the global workplace. I have two questions related to this. The first one is that I was interested in whether or not you are going to actively support our increase in students studying abroad all over the world. But the second issue is that we have actually a global Cougar family right here. We have a great number of international students, and my students exploring this issue discovered that they often have a slightly hard time feeling part of the Cougar family as a result of language and cultural differences, particularly our largest group, which is from the People's Republic of China. And I was wondering if you have ideas, visions, or plans for making them Cougs, no matter of where their future is going to take them, and no matter of where they came from.
Yeah, a lot to that question. So a couple quick things, and I'll let Noel also talk about this. The first is, I think study abroad experiences for students broaden their worldview, and I think it prepares them for a global marketplace. I think sometimes we can get too hung up on where students go for their first trip, as opposed to necessarily just getting outside of the United States, getting a little bit outside that comfort zone and finding out that you can get an English menu and kind of point to things. You can order food and you can move around. And we have a huge number of students in my present institution. We actually have a significant number who've never been on an airplane. So this idea of going to go off to somewhere that they speak a completely different language, I had a group of students one time say, well, we're going to be at this airport, and where do we go pick up our luggage? And what it turns out is they had not flown enough to realize you check it in at one place and you get it at the other. We take these things for granted. And so I think we've got to do everything we can to basically provide scholarship support, funding support, faculty trips, those types of things to go abroad. So our son at Oklahoma State is going to be spending 2 weeks, about 10 days in China and 4 or 5 days in Vietnam with a group of engineering scholars there, going around and seeing manufacturing and having a 2-week kind of cultural experience as part of a scholarship he has. There's no reasons we can't do those kinds of things that cross disciplinary boundaries with study outside the United States. For the students as they come, this is a struggle many, many college campuses have. And I think we have to sit down with those students and ask them the types of things that we can be doing to make sure that they feel part of the Coug family. I think it's an amazingly courageous thing to do for many of these students to come over and put themselves in a small college town, which is fairly unique to the United States, not have English as your first language, go to class like that. If you said, Kirk, you're going to go to China and do that, it'd be really a different experience. So we need to make sure those students feel really, really good about their experiences here. And sometimes, for example, at my present institution, we had to have somebody with Chinese language skills work in our counseling center, so that when students were stressed and they came in and needed somebody and they wanted to use their primary language, they had to have somebody that could understand them and help them. So those are the types of things that sometimes we'll need to have conversations about. The final thing I'll say on this for now is that we've got to be careful about not being a mile wide and an inch deep. I'm a big believer, and let's pick several areas of the country or the world, where we want to have in-depth relationships that are faculty exchanges, staff exchanges, student trips, study abroad, things back and forth, and then we can build the infrastructure in around some of those particular areas. I don't have anything in particular in mind. It's just I think this is an area where some real focus can make a big difference. I've traveled some. Noel, when she served as Power Engineering Society president, has been to all 7 continents and all over the world, and I think she can provide some leadership to working with student groups in this area as well, and I'll ask her to answer this question as well.
Yes, in 2008, I did a sabbatical for 4 months in Wales, in the UK, and that really, even though language wasn't a barrier, although sometimes Welsh, it was a little bit of a barrier, it really helped me see the differences and some of that. And we had an opportunity to travel, and as Kirk said, in 2012 and 2013, I did 240,000 air miles traveling over all 6 continents. There was not a power meeting in Antarctica, but we've gone on a different trip there. But really, I see the cultural differences, and in today's global economy, particularly in my field of engineering, it's so critical. And in 2 weeks, I'm going to Ethiopia for a week, working on rural electrification and renewables in agriculture, a project I've been working on for a couple years. And I really think getting students there and doing those activities, it's such an amazing experience. And we've seen with our children, when they have the international experience, particularly when I was abroad or other times, it is life-changing, and they understand. Our younger son went to South Africa with me for 2 weeks and just really got a understanding of some of the cultural issues and challenges there. And so I think for students, like Kirk said, not everyone can afford to do a semester abroad, but can we do some other programs where it's 2 weeks like Andrew's doing, where they get that experience and then have other opportunities in the future. Kirk's looking at his clock, so watch, so I'm going to finish. But we both have a lot of interest in that.
And I think since Dan's up here with a hook, it's time to finish up. So we appreciate the warm welcome that we've had. We look forward to getting to know all of you and the campus community over the next several months. And I appreciate the emails and suggestions. I asked for suggestions, and I know if you ask faculty for suggestions, you will get them. So please continue to send me your thoughts and things over the next several months as we're on campus. I look forward to seeing the great work that all of you do to make sure that we have the best experience for our students in the nation right here in Pullman. Go Cougs. Thank you.
Well, thank you, President Schulz and Dr. Schulz, for your comments and for your decision to come to Washington State University. Many of you know that I actually had some experience at Kansas State University in my past, and we didn't overlap, and there's no conspiracy here because I wasn't involved in the selection at all. But I was really intrigued by a couple things, and that was obviously we left a lot of great friends back at Kansas State University, and I received numerous emails and calls and texts congratulating us. And there were two themes that came through, all 50 of those or whatever it was. And one of them was that we hired a great team, and I think that was really exhibited here today. You know, we're just really excited about Dr. Schulz being here, not only because she's a great and internationally recognized power engineer, but she's a great advocate and representative of the university and now the Crimson University. The second thing that came out really in every of these emails was the character and openness of President Schulz, and I think that also was on display today. So thank you so much for your comments. Thank you all for coming out tonight, or today, this morning. This is a multiple stop tour, so we need to keep on schedule. I would refer you to the transition website on obviously our webpage to learn more about Dr. and President Schulz, as well as more about the transition. Thanks again, and go Cougs.